Thanks everybody for giving me a few minutes to talk. And as Dan mentioned, I'm a former engineer. I used to teach at CCA, Engineering Computer Science. Prior to that, I worked at Qualcomm for 20 years with Dan. So that's how we know each other. And we got connected together to offer this kind of unique camp where we merge both hardware and software over a 2 week period. We did it our first time last year at Berkeley, and it was very successful. We had a great time doing it. Lots of stuff that the kids learn over the course of 2 weeks, full time, the whole day over 2 weeks. And so this really is meant to combine both machine learning software and hardware. And so I split the day up into two parts, one where it's in the morning and then another part in the afternoon. So the first part we handle the software, all of the software design, different algorithms, lots of coding projects in the mornings. And then in the afternoon, we do hardware where we have lots of hands-on projects where we're actually building hardware. So that's where we say part one and part two, programming and algorithms and machine learning. And then the second part is digital circuit design. So we stick with digital circuits because it's the easiest one for the kids to pick up and the one where they can do a lot of most of the building in the classroom. These are the three main topics that we cover for the machine learning. It's foundational, so just we expect some knowledge of Python coming in, but we cover that if students are struggling, we help them out, and then go into pretty complex algorithm development in machine learning. Then we talk about neural networks too. So we cover a lot of stuff in 2 weeks over the course of the half days for those 2 weeks. On the hardware side, we start with sequential and combinational logic, so very basic gate level stuff with the digital design. And then I break into hardware description languages, so they get a little bit of, it's kind of like coding for hardware. And so we go into the tools with that as well. These are just kind of a background of here's how it breaks down day by day. So I won't go through each one because I don't have that much time to go through it. But you can see that each day is broken into an AM and a PM, so the morning and the evening, and lots of activities that we go through, lots of in class coding and circuit design for both the morning and the afternoon sessions. So we cover Python, as I said, intro to circuits, and then machine learning libraries, and then more circuit analysis, exploratory data analysis. This is like data mining, and then sequential logic. And then we go into pretty deep down into algorithms that would prepare us for neural networks and then state machines. And then we go through kind of a catch up the first day and the first week and do some assessments on that. And then in the second week is all machine learning algorithms and hardware. So the kids are really busy. It's not some people think it's too hard for them. It's not. Everybody in the class that we had we had like 15, I think 15 or 16 people last year, and it went great. And nobody had issues staying up, and we helped anyone who was having difficulty. They all got together in the evenings and worked together like they were in a college dorm because they were staying at most of them were staying at the Berkeley dorms, and had lots of experiences with them as well. I set up a Google Classroom for the students, and we do lots of projects. And so Dan wanted me to show some of the projects. So here's the final projects presentation. Let's take a look here. Yeah, so here was one project where people were using a they were using a machine learning algorithm called naive Bayes to determine music style. So they were using it as a classifier to classify different music genres. And so these two gals, Claire and Ava, were kind of superstars in the class. Were really good. Many of the people were doing similar type projects to this, where they were taking data in, analyzing it. These were algorithms that we learned. They didn't know these coming in. We learned them during the course. So they took this algorithm, And here's some of the mathematical rigor behind it. Started talking about how they were going to break it into their Python functions, showed us how that worked, and then gave us some results at the very end. Here's where the accuracy is on these genres, where they were classifying them for their the music, and what did it have good energy, was it danceable, did it have good loudness, and so on. And so it was really cool. And at the very end, then they would present to the class, and we had lots of different projects between hardware and software. Some people were doing hardware implementations of different algorithms in addition to just the software implementation. So we think it's really important to combine hardware and software a lot, because right now it's kind of difficult for CS people, pure CS people, to get jobs. So people who have some differentiating talent, like having some knowledge of hardware in addition to, AI, machine learning, that kind of algorithm development, are really in much better shape, in our opinion. So I think the kids came away with a lot of good input and had a good time. Dan did lots of different extracurricular activities too with them, so they had a lot of good time there too. Okay, Dan, how's that?
Yeah, very good. Okay, so any questions from the parents and students?
What are kids' range?
Age? That's a very good question. We have 8 to 9, finishing 8, which is the exception. And Mr. Mauro starting the 9 to 10, but he got in because he passed, and a junior in college. Yeah, and people would feel very weird why you put a junior in college with the 8th grader. They all worked out. Everybody's being challenged. Everybody, so a project's different. I mean, we have solo, we have a duet, we have triple, so they can work together. It's very interesting. And then we're inviting, some students in San Diego, in Southern California. They do very well, and we're offering them TA for this year. We fly them over, we take care of all the flights, residential, everything for them to be TA. And they get a very, very good experience for relearn this whole thing together and then teach other kids. Okay, so US College, one thing is not only about the technical, not about just awards, not about some name. Colleges are looking at your experience, how you work with other students is very important. Very important. So this is a great experience. Yeah. So, any other questions? Any other questions? Okay. Yeah. So we'll end here. Sorry, Mr. Mauro. Yeah, we have to go,
Yep.
and I'll have Liam
Okay.
come over, talk about his
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Nice
Mr.
talking
Mauro.
with everybody. Thanks for the time. Bye.
Thank you. Okay, bye-bye. Bye.